welcome back again to Procurement with myself, Lerato. Today we are back again with the conversations that we usually have. My special guest, Unozimanga Madubane, our BEE and transformation specialist, our guru. So, welcome to the channel, Nozi. How are you?
Thank you, Lerato. I'm good on yourself.
I'm okay, thank you.
Year,
I know,
compliments.
compliments. I know.
Thank you, Lerato.
Wow, thank you so much for joining this conversation today. As procurement, we are responsible for the transformation agenda. And I think it is in our duty to make sure that we implement the BEE, plans and assist the SMMEs and EMEs, and just transform. So while we are starting now, do you want to just highlight a bit in terms of what attracted you to this position, how you started a career, just in a brief, just briefly?
Well, yeah, Lerato. My career started about 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Where I started as an administrator. Yeah. So I've moved to all the position within procurement, from administrator to be responsible for the stores, being a buyer, being a strategic sourcing. So I understand all the elements. Within
so you've just been interested in supply chain?
Yes. So what happened is that I think it was late 2015, 2006, 2007, when DTI, they introduced the ownership only structure in terms of making sure that obviously they are looking at the disadvantage previous people within South Africa in terms of your ownership. That's when, remember that time, there were no courses or anything. You need to understand the codes. So at that particular time, I had to read more in terms of understanding the codes.
So you were privileged when it started?
Yes, I was there. I was part of it.
Oh, okay.
So I was there, and that's how I fell in love in terms of making sure that we look at small companies. But then we're only looking 51 owned the companies. And that time, they were only giving them opportunities on non-core non-core businesses, not that big contracts, like I'll make an example, marketing and catering, because I think we didn't understand what that we needed to do to obviously to get those black companies within. So it started by printing, getting those small companies. And remember those years in South Africa, when you are black, regardless where you're coming from, you will qualify. Because we didn't go back and check whether we were here before 94. So we didn't understand.
Because it was that.
We didn't understand the codes then. And let me tell you, a lot of people who benefited then, it was, most of them, it was foreigners. Like people from Zimbabwe.
Oh, it was not yet clear.
Yeah, it was not clear.
That non-foreigner, it was just black.
It was black.
Starting.
You needed to be black.
Okay.
So because we didn't understand, and a lot of foreigners, they've got a business mind, they're into business. So most of them came in, they were the one who benefited in terms of giving these opportunities. But when times goes, when you understand the codes, when they were reviewing, when they come up with a broad-based empowerment, that's when we understand the full structure. And that's when I left then Transnet. I went to Eskom. I was working for Roshcon. I was basically responsible for BBBEE then.
Wow. So for someone, just to disturb you, for someone who doesn't understand what BBBEE stands for and what is the intention, I still find a lot of procurement specialists, even themselves, still don't understand actually what is the purpose of BBBEE. I can't be the only one.
Yes, there are a lot of them.
Lots, even private sector.
Yeah, there are a lot of people who confuse BBBEE with just going out there, getting anyone who's black, and giving them an opportunity.
And that does not mean that portfolio. And
it does not mean that transformation. So you need to understand what transformation.
So what is
when they came out with a broad-based empowerment, they look at different pillars. So under BBBEE, you've got, previously there were 7 pillars.
Yes.
Your ownership, management, employment equity, skills development, preferential procurement, and SED. So in those 7 pillars, you're supposed to make sure you've got certain targets. I'll make an example in terms of your ownership. Your company needed to be 51% owned by a black company, black people, individuals who are in South Africa, to make sure that you're giving them skills. In that particular sector, or what is the word that I can use? Category, yes, category. Make an example. You needed to have someone who's got skills, who's got experience in that particular category. I'll make an example. Building of the sites.
Yeah.
You need an engineer who understands that. You're not going to just go and get someone because they're black, they're interested. But they need to have experience, have done the work, know how to go, and understand the space. But those people who are supposed to be black have a company that they've created, and they were supposed to have a 51% black owned. So those days we're not looking women then, we're looking black women owned companies. It was still black. Yes, black. So that will be your ownership. Then you go to management. Management, they look at how many people in the management position that are black. Remember, being black, it doesn't mean that it's African as me and you. So you need to define what is black. Black, it could be someone who was born in South Africa, who was here before 94, and who's black by birth, or by being, what is the word that they use? Naturalized. When I'm talking about naturalized, you find out your mother went to exile because of the politician things that were the struggle that was happening in South Africa. Maybe they were born in South Africa, but they leave South Africa and go and live overseas. Due to struggle and apartheid, they are fighting for the country to have democracy. So they'll leave and go overseas. When they come back with you. You were not born in South Africa. You were born in Zimbabwe or America. But because your parents, they left the country because of the struggle, you need to be naturalized. So that's how you benefit them, because you were not born in South Africa. However, your parents were here and they left because of the struggle.
It's too technical.
It's very technical. So
you know, for many people don't understand this technical.
They don't understand. So you need to be naturalized. Therefore, you are naturalized. You get naturalization certificate to say you can participate in any program that are ESD, that are run within South Africa. But a lot of companies, they don't have that information, and they don't go further in terms of tracking and understanding
that
what are the meaning when they are saying black and naturalized.
So, just before you continue, as a BE specialist, when you receive a certificate and you have to evaluate or adjudicate, those are the things you look into?
So when you've got the certificate, so basically what needs to happen, all the sourcing people, procurement people, they need to be trained.
Yes, us.
They need to understand.
Get training.
They need to understand the broad-based empowerment codes. The entire codes. Remember, we've got different sectors. But the codes are one. They define black. They define naturalization. They define who qualifies to be in the program. They define where are those people. Remember, these different people that are defined. I mean, I'll make an example. When you talk about designated, you don't even know what I'm talking about.
Designated groups.
Designated groups. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Partially, I can think quickly.
Exactly. So
but it's not that clear on everyone who's in the procurement.
So they need to understand what is designated group. Therefore, when you do your evaluation in terms of BBBEE tenders, you will get the certificate. When you get the certificate, you need to check the ownership. It will tell you. Ownership. It will tell you. The people that got rights to vote and the shares. You need to differentiate that as well, because that not necessarily means that if I have more writing votes, those are the shares. So it will give you the writing votes. Then it will also give you the share percentage.
How do you determine this on an affidavit? So certificate, I get it. Maybe verification agency.
Affidavit.
Affidavit. How do you get to that?
Remember, then the affidavit is the easiest one because in terms of the code, it says any companies that are less than 50 million, which means those are your EMEs and your QCs, who has 51 black owned,
they get an affidavit.
They are exempted. They go through an affidavit. But you need to note, in order for you to be level 1, you need to have 100% black owned.
Yes.
Then you get level 1. 51 and below, you get level 2. Between EMEs and QCs.
Some people are not aware of this. And they want, especially those who come for partners. You find people who are partnering in a company, there are 2 black males. What would that give you? A level, if we say 50-50, as black female, the miss as black males.
It's 100%.
It's 100%.
It's 100%.
Then that's a level 1.
That's level 1.
But if you bring in other partner that is not black owned, it's only 51%, you get a level 2.
Level 2.
And if the only way to move to level 1 is through
100%.
You can't be a level 1 without having 100%.
Under if your turnover is less than 50 million.
Oh, okay.
However,
unless
if you're generic, you can be level 1.
Okay.
Even if you don't have a 51 black owned.
Okay.
It depends on the other elements where you have improved or where you have met the targets in terms of the targets that are set.
Okay.
Yeah. So remember, again, when they talk about exempted or your qualifying companies, there are companies that does not have ownership, which are EME level 4.
Yes.
They qualify to be involved.
Yeah.
The code does say
they get qualified. However, procurement then would I don't want to say disqualify, disadvantage from a scoring perspective in doing evaluations because
they don't have. Yeah. However, the code saying that you need to buy from them. Oh. So companies, they need to be clever. I'm gonna tell you how they need to look
to get into that.
To get into that.
Fine. So before you give us those tips, as an SME or EME that's starting a company, or you've just started, most of them don't understand the importance of why there must be a certificate, or even get it into the right space where there's a youth percentage that's black woman owned. Ne? Can you maybe share what are some of the benefits one needs to look into?
So what normally happens is a bit tricky, like the question that you've asked me to say, people that are bringing the affidavit, it's difficult for you to determine. But you are able to determine in terms of the threshold, which is 50 million, it should be less than 50 million in the ownership. However, if, for instance, I'll make an example, they will send an affidavit like that to say, you are EME, I've got 51 or 100% black owned. Then if they're 100%, they will automatically be a level 1. Then they sign it, then they send it. If you're not sure, or you're smelling something that is fishy, you are allowed to request an ID copy of the owner. That's where you verify whether this person it's 100% black in terms of South African, where this person was nationalized. So I've got few cases whereby they brought to me that they were not sure, or rather they've appointed a supplier on a big contract because they thought they were black. But when I requested affidavit and I could probe more in terms of getting an ID, I've realized these people are from Malawi. They are not South African.
And I think this is the trick as well. Most small companies think procurement doesn't do this due diligence, or transformation managers don't do this due diligence.
I think that's where the problem is. That's why when I said to you, education is quite important. People, they need to understand the codes. They need to understand how to read affidavits. If they don't understand, they need to go to people who understand, transformation people, because their Bible is the codes. They always refer to the codes. So you need to have a Bible.
And that's the part that people don't read.
They don't understand. You need to have a Bible sitting next to you so that you understand.
But this language learning is very difficult.
Not necessarily.
For someone who's not into supply chain.
But I think it's all about passion.
Passion, okay.
It's a passion.
Okay.
My background is procurement. I'm a
But
supply
as
chain
a
person.
supplier, sometimes you're not aware. Let's just say you're just starting a business and then you quickly want to provide services, cleaning, company. Ne? All you're thinking about is when I get a certificate and I'm done. Then there's me getting pricing, me getting my people, the tendering. And then you don't know how to
That's
structure.
why companies, they normally need to have a supplier day workshop.
To teach the suppliers.
Understand them and make sure, like where I'm working, we normally have that whereby I will engage with my suppliers and say, this is how you're supposed to even complete an affidavit. Because affidavit at times, they can send it. If they did not circle to say, I'm the owner.
Already you are disqualified.
Already disqualified.
I know. Some people, they're not even authorized to sign
Exactly.
the affidavits.
If the affidavit, especially in my space, in my sector, I'm in ICT, and you're in ED, you send a generic certificate, you are disqualified. So they need to understand what kind of sector they are into. If you are in IT, you need to complete an IT affidavit. If we are in property, you need to look at it.
So in agriculture, you must...
Agriculture, finance.
So is it downloaded on the DTI's website?
Yes, it's there. The information is there. So that's why I'm saying it's
and people
important.
use generic ones, they just download
exactly.
them.
Exactly. So that's why it's important
Sector
that
specific.
you have to educate your administrators, particularly people who are loading suppliers into database. Because remember, whatever that you pull on a report, it comes the way it was loaded. Now, if you load a supplier, you do not indicate that the supplier is not designated, you are losing those 2 points for designated. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you do your procurement spend. Because remember, you still have to go and get to be verified by a certain company, by these
verification agencies.
BBBEE verification agencies. Now you're gonna lose those points because that particular person who loaded a supplier into database don't understand BBBEE. Or the person has uploaded the wrong affidavit that is not circled, it's not marked, they didn't put the right financial year. Remember, an affidavit is only valid if it was signed same day by you and the police station. I cannot sign it today, the police station sign it tomorrow. It's not valid.
And you can't complete it at home.
No.
And then go and sign it.
No, you need to be there and do it. So
guys, you see, there's a lot of tricks
that you need to look into when you are in procurement. That's why I'm saying it's quite important to put someone who understands BBBEE as a vendor management person so that they understand when they load. Because when it comes for verification, when it comes for audit, you are not being disadvantaged because of the information that you have loaded into the system.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk a little bit about suppliers themselves. The tips suppliers need to make sure they are in the right BEE level, ownership level, things that can get them tenders. So that's usually the interest of the SMEs.
Yes, but remember now, even these suppliers, they cook figures. Because they don't want to grow. Because they don't want to be large. Because they've got this mindset to say, if I'm an EME or QSC or forever, get a tender with Lirado or with Nose. So it starts with your company. What is your company strategy in terms of BBBEE? When I'm saying in terms of BBBEE is a broader word. You need to have a strategy for preferential procurement, have a strategy for ESD, have a strategy for management, have a strategy for skills development. You cannot have only strategy for enterprise and supply development.
But for a small company, they must have all of that.
What do you mean? I'm talking about a bigger
company. I mean, I'm talking about the supplier.
The suppliers, that's why I'm saying for you to help them, you as a company, you must have a strategy to say, how do these people grow? How do I identify them? When they will be removed from being under ESD. How long does it take for them to be on my program of being enterprise and supply development? Remember, ESD, enterprise and supply enterprise and supply development is different from preferential procurement.
Yeah.
So people, if they can understand the difference between the two,
I want us to
it
talk
will
about
be
that.
a better.
All right, Nosy. So, as we're getting to the end of the conversation, I just wanted to find out what are some of the misconceptions surrounding the B-BBEE agenda and transformation, because other people say that it's not working, it's a failed concept, and it's benefiting the ANC, politics, particular groups, etc. In your experience, is that true, or do you think there's just another concept one can look into?
I guess it's how you take it as a person and having an understanding of where we're coming from as a country.
Yeah.
Then you might think it's not working.
Yeah.
And from where I'm coming from, I believe that not everyone born a CEO, not
We're not all business owners. Yeah.
not everyone is an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
We want to be an entrepreneur,
Of course.
but not all of us will be entrepreneurs. Therefore, same as the BBBEE, not everyone will benefit and not everyone will be happy.
And you being in this space as a specialist, you've seen the success.
I understand, and
Yeah.
I know that if one of the SMME is not happy,
Yeah.
they'll go there and make noise and get crowd to
Come and just
just to say this thing is not working, and yet we know that it's perfectly working.
Yeah, absolutely.
And with the work that I've been doing for the past 6 or 7 years, I've created about 2.5 SMMEs.
2,500.
Yes, SMMEs.
What?
Out of those.
Those who say B doesn't work, they're liars.
They are liars.
So you've started them from scratch. This includes enterprise development.
It's enterprise, mainly is enterprise, indirect and direct. So when I'm saying indirect, I'm talking about the enterprise development. Then when I'm saying direct, I'm talking about supply development.
Okay.
So you'll have the one that you onboard them on your system as suppliers.
Yeah.
So I'll make an example. We have a program that we've called IFT. It's an independent technician field. Therefore, we've employed about 48 companies.
Wow.
And those companies...
So you basically need to be intentional
to
see the success of enterprise development and supply development.
Remember, the most important thing, you need to hold them by the hand.
But most corporates don't have the patience.
A 3-year contract is not going to take them. Remember, 3 years, they're still static.
Yeah.
So most of the companies, what they do, they only give them enterprise development or supply development for 2 years. So where I'm coming from, we give them for 5 years to say, we are holding you by a hand. We want to see you break even in the 3rd year or 4th year.
So let me just touch on this point. A lot of grant funding organizations like NYDA, they do grant funding to start up, right? And then there's IDCs that fund businesses and the likes, homes and all. Some of the enterprises that are funded, their existence and the longevity only exist up until 3 years, and then they can't reach through 5 years.
That's where the problem is.
And do you think now the concept of BE and that part, holding them by the hand, this is where then it's important?
Remember,
because the failure rate is high.
Entrepreneur, when you need to understand what is an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Entrepreneur is someone who comes up with a good idea.
Yeah. But
they might not understand how financials works, how marketing works, how bidding works in terms of the contract and all that.
Yeah.
You know. Therefore, for me, you cannot give them a 2-year contract because you need to hold them by a hand. The fact that they're an entrepreneur does not mean they're a round runner. They know everything. So you need to understand by doing a diagnostic analysis to check what is it that they're strong at, what is it that they're good at. You know, so you cannot just say, I'm giving them a 2-year contract. You hold them by a hand. By holding them by a hand, particularly for supply development, it's not enough by onboarding them on the system. you must make sure that you give them a contract. By giving them a contract again, you don't give them a contract and you don't give them jobs. A contract does not mean that you're giving them POs. You must give them POs. You must pay them within 14 days as well, so that they're sustainable. But if
most
don't
of them are complaining about payments.
Exactly. So my suppliers, particularly estate supplier development, they're paid within 14 days. We hold them by a hand. We make sure that they've got jobs, they've got orders.
So do you think this is a bigger KPI procurement needs to drive?
Exactly. KPI needs to be the one that are driving supply development, because I don't know your custodian, or I'm not a custodian of the particular procurement, and I don't deal with business. Business are the one that knows what they want to procure, and that's how you'll be able to set aside. But if you don't understand BBBEE, you will not even think of setting aside any commodity that a business wants to procure. But if we work together with EST specialists and procurement, they become involved, or they become part of this need. That's when we'll be able to drive BBBEE, like my company. I sit to all the RFP that are within the company, RFI, to identify intervention in terms of enterprise and supply development.
Wow, man.
To identify what could be set aside for those core businesses as well, because my company, obviously, in order for me to get points, I need to grow companies within the core business.
Wow.
So I need to identify what are those interventions that I can do within supply chain or procurement.
Sure. Yeah, guys, you know, the BEE conversation is broad.
It's broader than
and
what we
I think what
today.
makes it even more complex is each sector implementing according to the requirements, and procurement specialists being intentional in those particular sectors, even suppliers knowing which sector I belong, how do I complete documents. They don't know. People just do one thing. They're just thinking generic.
So your typical procurement specialist, they're worried about, I think the biggest problem for me, or area that I'm still struggling to come around about, it's savings that are needed to be done by procurement.
Yeah.
That one, it's
but how is that a bottleneck to implement?
It's a bottleneck because you need to spend money.
Oh, so you see, this is the trade-off, and the way the challenge is at.
You need to spend money.
Ah.
And now, if you want to grow a SMME, you need to do your preferential pricing for them. Let's assume you need to trade in. Let's assume now you've got a bigger company that is big, has been there. Their costing it's quite low. Then you want to grow this small company, but their costing is high. That's where.
And this is where the challenge is, because you can't leverage. The other ones have the power to negotiate for more. Otherwise, they don't have the buying power. So obviously, the price will be high.
Exactly.
And this is where, that's what I'm saying, is it becoming an intentional effort. Wow. All right. So, you being in this area for some time and having to work with a lot of small companies, what advice can you give them when they're starting into getting into their businesses, looking for ESD programs or incubation programs? Something that they need to take home with.
Understanding their product. That's the
because another thing is you find these guys and they don't become successful.
That's the biggest, how can I put it?
Focus.
Failure that has to do with small companies, because now they in their minds it's enterprise supply development. Therefore, they don't focus on understanding their product. They don't focus on
the
service delivery that we want in terms of that particular product that they'll be servicing. It could be a product, it could be a solution. They are not concentrating on it.
So
but they are more concentrating on what? Getting a job or being on our database.
Not invoice, but they don't master their.
They are not mastering their. Because for me, in order for you to grow, master your product, master your solution, so that if I come up with questions, you are able to answer. But now, if I come up with a question you are unable to going to check, what guarantees are there I'm going to coming back to you? I'm going to say, you're wasting my time, I'm going to go to the next person.
So let me say something. I recently posted this on my social media, that there's a thing called the budget trap. Most small companies fall into the budget trap whereby you want to find out what is the budget. Whenever you tender, what is the budget? What is the budget?
Forget about the budget.
Forget about, thank you, thank you. Can you just say high five?
Forget about the budget, because if your solution is good, if I don't have a budget, I'll go and find the budget for you. So,
louder please.
Forget about the budget.
Louder.
Concentrate on your solution.
Yeah.
On your product, you must master it.
Yeah.
You must know your story.
You actually just confirmed that for me, because just yesterday I posted on my Instagram stories, because I just had a session. I was like, guys, there's the budget trap. We've cancelled tenders because we don't have enough budget, right? We've gone back and requested more budget, and we cancelled tenders because of poor responses. And even if they're all under budget, it's just poor. Like
because at times the problem is that the moment they ask you about the budget, to say how much the budget, I can lie.
Yeah.
To get rid of them.
I literally said that.
I can
how
lie
do
to
you
get
know?
rid of them, and I'll tell them on under.
This is wild.
Give them an under budget, then they underquote.
Yeah.
The next thing, they got the job, but they've underquoted.
Yeah.
They're not making money. So what you need to do, you need to do a benchmark. You need to understand how you can do pricing.
If there's
how
anything,
you can align
yes,
your services or a solution, whatever that you be
yeah,
providing, doing benchmark and seeing how other companies are quoting there.
Yeah.
Understanding your pricing. It's got nothing to do with the pricing for someone else, but it's your pricing.
Yes.
As long as you can justify it to say, my pricing is too high because
1, 2, 3.
I've
and
done
some of
this
them, they don't even quote for everything.
Exactly.
And then just to chase
Come
that budget.
in.
Yeah.
Just to, it's got nothing to do. It's got everything to do with the skill that you have.
Amen. Hallelujah.
If you
Can you get an amen?
If you master the skill,
Yeah,
you understand your product. For me, whether the budget is there or is not there.
Thank you.
But if I want you,
yes,
you're gonna get it.
and you show innovation, creativity. How are you different?
Exactly.
Listen.
The niche. It needs to be niche. It needs to be one of the best product that will distract the outside world.
Disruptors. Yeah. That's what I was saying. Like, guys, don't be trapped. It's a trap. People are falling into. How many companies have we awarded that were way above budget? Sometimes there are anomalies in the pricing, and you have to go and check as procurement and the companies why there are anomalies. But about they go into how much the budget up. They don't focus on the quality of the product. They need that, they need to satisfy the customer, the problem that they must solve, and then they mess up. And sometimes that's when these ED programs, they become a failure. Because people are focusing on the money. Wow. No, thank you for clarifying that. I like that actually. All right, Nosy, as you're getting to the closing, I usually ask people this question: what's your motto as a professional and expert? What has brought you this far?
To continue doing what you think is good for you, what you've been doing. That will be giving back to community. When I'm saying giving back to community, I'm talking about helping those who are in need, particularly your SMMEs, because I think they're the ones that are struggling. The entrepreneurs. I remember entrepreneur is an entrepreneur because they come up with an idea. Therefore, you need to hold them by a hand. And entrepreneurs are tomorrow's future for us. They're the one who will be creating jobs. And therefore, if we don't continue helping them, it means that our kids will not be employed. So for me, it keeps on helping them, assisting them, holding by a hand, and most importantly, just to transfer skills in terms of whatever that they might
skills transfer is a big thing, and that's why I do what I do, because I believe in sharing knowledge. There's a lot of people that are just holding on to a lot of things, and we are growing. We need the industry to continue. We need people to continue in the generations, and that's why we are here.
And as we've heard, the stats, they indicate that people who create employment, it's SMEs. Like if you look at the likes of your overseas, like in America, they embrace small companies
because they create employment.
Because they create employment, you know. So particularly for those kids that are coming from school without experience, because our biggest problem is where companies, when they are looking for people, they look at 5 years experience and they tend to forget these kids, they're just coming from school. So these kids are our future. Therefore, that's why we're supposed to transfer skills. We're supposed to hold them by a hand. In doing so, we are saying, go and shine, go and create your own company.
So that's
by
what
doing
drives,
so, even more. Now, if they become successful, they're creating employment. They employ more youth. They also transfer skills as well.
That's true.
To the youth that they've just employed. So I'll make an example right now where we took about 150 graduates. Under my wing, I've got one that is dedicated to me, and she's far from what she has studied in terms of what she's doing now.
And that's what is important, to do skills transfer, sharing of the knowledge and improving, and that's for you, that's what drives you basically.
Exactly.
And that's what serves the purpose.
Sure. Therefore, you need to teach them from
the beginning.
How to create an email, how to write a memo.
And we take this for granted.
Presentation.
That's true.
Because remember, you can't go and pitch to me if you're unable to do a presentation. How are you going to pitch to me?
Sure.
So it starts there. So that's my motto as well.
Thank you so much. Where's our gift? So I have a gift for you. We have a new merch, guys, Procurement with Lerato Journal. The intention of this is for you when you're sitting in your office, you can remember our procurement conversations. Because you know, there's a bad stigma surrounding procurement because of lack of knowledge, I think. And that's what also we're talking about today. So yes, it is a gift to you. Please do receive it with love. And as a thank you for participating in today's podcast and the conversation to continuously uphold our profession.
Thank you, Lerato. I just want to add something on what you just said.
Yes.
Particularly in terms of what you're doing.
Okay.
I'm just gonna go back and tell the story on how I met you.
Oh yeah.
By the way, she was a graduate. That's how she started. But look at her today. She's teaching us some of the things we are learning from her. As a learner, that's what we're talking about when we are saying transferring of skills. We transfer skills to her. Today she's able to.
And I'm interviewing you
exactly.
Today. Imagine.
She's able to transfer things to a bigger
network.
Network. Other people does not understand. And I'm hoping and I'm praying and I know that will have a booklet that will capture
some of these quick
how to do diligence, how to negotiate,
guide of some sort. And that's my vision. That's also one of the things I pray for. Include BE, codes,
talk about the codes, different sectors.
Yes.
It will help a lot of these youth because remember, when they come as graduates, remember when you came in,
I know nothing.
You were fine and say, can you do this? And you don't even know where to start. But if you've got the booklet, it tells you, okay,
straightforward.
What are quotations? How do I do quotation? How do I source? How to write a specification? Because those are the things that
a quick rough guide
that will assist an
for your
intern that
day-to-day.
comes. Exactly.
Sure.
So I'm grateful that you've done this.
Thank you.
And I want you to shine. I want you to continue. And very soon we are looking forward to that booklet. Pressure. You need that. It's all about that.
No, thank you so much, Nozi. I enjoyed today's conversation. You know what is important is for us to continuously share and grow our profession. Like I said, the network supply chain needs a lot of these conversations. And there's less information also on the internet when you look. You know what drives me is if you're Googling something and you can't find it, where do you go? And then you know people know it, but you can't even reach those people. So this is, in this era we're living now, we are in the IT, Internet of Things. So let's just
sharing
make
information
this,
is quite important.
it's very important.
Because it teaches you something that you didn't know how to do. It make it your life easier. Because remember, we're living in an era whereby other people they become sick because of small things. Because they are afraid that they'll be called names or this, so they're afraid to ask questions. So when we can make this information available, it's easier. That person does not need to stress and end up having depression because they're afraid of what other people will say. So it's easier for them. So keep up.
Thank you. Guys, we are wrapping up. Thank you so much, Nozi, for being our guest. It is highly appreciated, and thank you for your time, for your knowledge, and for sharing your expertise. Guys, please do subscribe to our channel, like, share, and comment, and continuously be part of the conversations. We are signing out. Thank you for being part of this, and see you again soon. Bye.
Thank you, and ciao.